Welcome back to the channel. We are continuing our Olympic week. Today's event is the diving competition. We have all of our divers from our 4 islands of Potpourri, Clue, Skedaddle, and Science. We're going to start with Maths from Skedaddle. He's going to start with the standard dive. Let's see what he's got here. And a pretty good splash for that one, and pretty good distance. So we're going to see what his score is here. A 9.5 on that dive. Now we're going to go to the fancy high dive. And this one we're looking for distance and style. Good splash on that one. He's going to get a good score on that. Swim back to the shore here. On his way to the third and final of his dives, the low dive. So his score on the fancy dive, a 9.8. That's going to obviously put him in first place. Good distance on that one and a pretty good splash. What his score on this, and then his final score will be the average of his 3 scores. So his third dive got him a 9.8, so that is an average altogether of a 9.7. So that is the score to beat for the rest of the divers. Next up we have R&D from Science. She's going to start with her standard dive here. She's feeling pretty confident here. Some pretty good splash, pretty fair. Not too much distance on that one though. That will earn her a 9.3. She's going to go for her fancy high dive now. Again, we're looking for style, distance, and splash. That was a very good splash. And that's going to earn her, just waiting for the score here. Got a 9.6 on the fancy dive, so she's going to go for her low dive now, getting some stretches and getting warmed up and getting ready for this dive here while the judges reset. Good distance on that one. Pretty good splash. That should get her a pretty good score. And that low dive was a 9.6, so an average of her 3 dives is 9.5, so she is behind Maths. Maths is still the score to beat. We have Sleuth from Clue now. She's going to start her standard dive. Pretty good splash on that one. The distance was pretty fair, pretty average. That should get her an okay score, pretty good score. She got a 9.5 on that one. She's going to go for her fancy dive. We're looking for style, distance, and splash. Pretty good splash. That got it pretty high. She got out pretty far as well. That should give her a pretty good score. Oh, a 9.5. That wasn't as high as we thought that would be, but it's still pretty good. Great distance on that one, and a pretty good splash on that as well. A very good splash. So let's see what this is going to get her, and then average of the 3 scores. So her low dive will get Sleuth from Clue a 9.7. So the average of her 3 scores is a 9.56. 9.56. That puts her in second place behind Maths. We've got Hawkins from Potpourri. He's going to be the next diver. He's going to start with his standard dive. Pretty good splash. The distance wasn't too far. Probably looking at an average score here. 9.5. Yeah, that's kind of expected. So he's going to go to his fancy dive now. See what he gets as far as this fancy dive. That splash was not very big, and his distance wasn't as far. So he earned a 9.4 on that one. It's okay. We still got another dive to kind of average him out. It's a pretty good splash on that one. That should get him a fairly good score on that. Probably another average score. So his low dive gets him a 9.5. So the average of his 3 dives is 9.46. Not enough to place here. So next up we have from Potpourri, we've got Samuel. And Samuel is going to start with his standard dive here. Pretty good splash on that one. That we're probably looking at another average score for that one. And that was a 9.5 for that one. Now he's going to do his fancy dive. Let's see what he gets here. Fairly good distance and a really good splash. Got some good height on that splash, that Walter. That earns him a 9.6. He's going to go to his low dive now. Pretty good distance on that one and a pretty okay splash. So he will get on that one. He earns a 9.5. So his average will be a 9.53. So he is in 3rd place right now. He is in 3rd place behind Sleuth and then Maths. Tanalier from Science is up next with his standard dive. Pretty low splash on that one. The distance was kind of average. So he'll probably get an average score on that. And the judges give him a 9.4. He's still got 2 dives to go, so he's doing his fancy dive now. Pretty good splash on that one. And kind of an average distance and style. So he's going to earn himself on that dive a 9.5. So his low dive now. Let's see what he gets here. Alright, he is ready to go. Pretty good, very good distance and a very good splash. He should get a pretty good score on that one. And then we'll average his 3. So his low dive got him a 9.6. So the average of his 3 scores altogether is 9.5. Not enough to place, unfortunately. So we've got Leota now from Potpourri. She's going to start with her standard dive. Pretty good splash on that one. Average distance away. So that earns her a 9.5. Let's go to her fancy dive now. We're looking for style, splash, and distance. Pretty good distance and a really good splash. That water got up very high. She should be happy with the score that she gets for that dive. And that earned her 9.6. Getting ready to go to her low dive now. So let's see, she's all ready now. Get a running start and great distance on that one and a pretty good splash. That will earn her a 9.5. So her average of her scores is a 9.53. Not quite enough to place there. She's tied in fourth. And our last diver is Redwitz. She's going to start with her standard dive. She is, of course, from Potpourri. Great splash on that one. Fairly good distance. A little bit further than some of the others. Just a smidge. That got her a 9.6. Okay, that is good. Going to her fancy dive now. Let's see if she can pull off a win here. Great splash on that one. That got up all the way to the almost to the top of the cliff on that one. 9.6 is what she earned for her fancy dive. And now her final dive, her low dive. Lining up, getting a running start, good distance and a very high splash. 9.7 is the score to beat. Can she do it? She gets the average of her scores, a 9.6. Alright, so she is in second place. She has won the silver. Maps from Skedaddle has won the gold. And with a 9.56, Sleuth has won the bronze. Thanks for joining us, and check out the rest of our Olympic videos the rest of this week. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.